Boxing is complex. With every inch of your body playing a role and all the strategic movements, it's easy for somebody to get overwhelmed rather quickly. This can easily lead to bad habits being developed over time, which make you less effective and make you an easier opponent to face. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 common mistakes made by beginner boxers, and there's going to be a part 2 to this series because there is so many things that we can cover. I'm just randomly throwing some in a bag, and we'll do a part 2 later down the line. The first mistake that comes to mind is not breathing. You see so many people focusing on power and speed while hitting the bag that they're not thinking about technique and control. Naturally, this leads to them being burnt out in 15 seconds tops. You gotta make sure that you're exhaling with each punch and staying loose and staying controlled. If you implement effective breathing techniques, then you're gonna be able to take your gas tank a lot further than what you will be if you just tense up and don't breathe at all. The problem with this is most beginner boxers don't even notice that they're doing it. They don't even notice that they're not breathing. So it's another thing to have to focus on, but once you get it down, it will happen naturally. Mistake number 2 is that they're not moving their feet. Footwork is fundamental in boxing. It allows you to position yourself for offense and defense, gain some insurance by making some distance between you and your opponent, and it allows you to quickly engage your opponent. So many beginners stand in front of the bag and bang it out and never move their feet. In turn, this leads to them never moving their feet in the ring. You can quickly get outclassed by somebody that has better footwork, so make sure that you're drilling and moving your own feet. A huge mistake that you see a lot in boxing, and it's very common with novice boxers and even boxers that have a little bit of traction under their feet, is telegraphing your punches. There's a time to show your opponent your punches and show what you're gonna throw and set up something with your fakes and your feints. But when I see a jab get telegraphed, then I know that that wasn't intentional. People telegraph their punches thinking that if they pull back before they shoot it off, that they're gonna have more power and more speed. The only problem is it's never gonna hit your opponent because they're gonna see it coming from a mile away. Worse than that, they could read it, react, and counter off of it and leave you in a very bad spot. It's point A to point B with these punches. All other movement needs to go out the window. Number 4 on the list is being too tight. This is a mistake that affects a lot of people, and even pro boxers have to work on being loose and being relaxed. All your punches should be loose right before impact, and then you tighten your fists. That's a good way to think about it. If you're all tight in the shoulders and you have no movement, then you're going to turn into a sitting duck, and all your punches are going to be slow, and you're going to waste copious amounts of energy from just being tense and being all balled up. If you're balling up your fist for your jab before it even leaves the chute, then you're doing that wrong. There's no simpler way to put it. It needs to be balled up and tense right before impact. That allows you to be most effective, use your gas tank more effectively so you're not getting burnt out super quick, and deliver the snappiest and most brutal punch that you're able to put out there. Just try to relax a little bit. Move and stay loose. The final mistake for today's video is not following Punch Club media. I mean, are you truly even a boxer if you don't? I'm just messing around here a little bit, guys. The true mistake is being off balance. This comes from pushing through your techniques too quickly, not really mastering them, and throwing your punches with a bunch of power and a bunch of speed when you haven't mastered how to move your body in that particular way. I see this a lot with the 1-2. When people throw the 2 and then they're leaned over, they're so far over that front foot and that front leg, sometimes that back leg kicks up. I did it too. It's common. You just gotta be mindful of it and fix these issues. Go look up literally any street fight video and I'm sure you're gonna see it. They're gonna come in with an overhand and they're gonna throw it, and if they miss it, whips them right around and they're on the ground themselves. You gotta have control over your punches. You can't be throwing all your power, everything you got into the punch, because if you lose that control, if you lose that balance, then you're gonna lose that fight. You gotta remember your feet and your base. Your weight needs to be distributed so that you are balanced after each and every punch, and then you're coming back to that base. For example, if every time you throw that cross, you feel off balance, you feel forward, then your weight distribution is off, and you need to go back and refine that technique. That's all I got for today's video. I'll be sure to start working on part 2 and make the wait for that video as minimal as possible. Make sure to comment down below some mistakes that maybe you see, or mistakes that you've made and fixed, or any beginner mistake that you can think of that we can talk about. Put it in the comments, we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll even make it into the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to be able to keep up with Punch Club Media. And as always, ladies and gents, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Punch Club Media.